What's up, you guys? Sean Ross Sapp, managing editor, FightfulWrestling.com. It is January 28, 2019. It is Raw after Rumble time. And boy, do we have plenty to get into. This was an action-packed episode of WWE Raw. We had a lot of news heading into WWE Raw where the script, quite frankly, wasn't done until about a half an hour before the show. And even then, it had been highly revised and rewritten. There was a lot of stuff going on backstage. There was a lot of new producers. I got to ask, Alex, when are you signing with WWE? Because that seems to be the popular thing to do among Fightful alumni at this point.
Yeah, I guess so. I don't know. This has been kind of a crazy weekend so far. Yeah, and also, by the way, apparently it's fixing to be 12 below for a high on Wednesday in Milwaukee. So anybody wants to come up here in the wintertime, they're more than welcome to, and I'll go to Arizona.
It was, it's looking nasty out in the Midwest right now, but I do want to congratulate Shane Helms, a Fightful alumni. He is now working with WWE. We've had Chris Harrington working for AEW, who was a former freelancer at Fightful. Of course, Matt. We had Deanna, who signed with WWE and did some writing for us. It makes me very happy to see that. And WWE, anytime you want to hire Alex away from us or Mr. Warren Hayes, if you wanted to make Mr. Warren Hayes retire, I mean, at this pace, Alex, Jeff Hawkins is more likely to get a WWE win than Kurt Hawkins.
It's certainly at least as likely.
I posted some news up on Fightful Select early about backstage information. It was a madhouse there. They had a lot of new producers. They had a lot of SmackDown talent backstage, and they didn't have these scripts done. Now, when you've got all these producers, they got to help time stuff out. They got to help get stuff ready. They did not have that benefit tonight. And, lots of stuff going on. So I found out a little bit more about the Shane Helms situation. Originally, when contact was made, they were trying to get him to become a full-time NXT coach. And who knows, that may end up happening. He's had a couple of stints there, but they have Jeff Jarrett, who is also on board. We'll talk about more later. Sanjay Dutt and Abyss in some role. But they're bringing in some big guns, quite honestly. I mean, Abyss, Jeff Jarrett, Sanjay Dutt, Shane Helms, all guys who have been around the block a few times, who have been in multiple promotions.
Yeah, I mean, they're obviously serious about, bringing people who have a knowledge of what's going on, because I feel like they have a thing where, oh, well, you've been doing indie stuff out there. Obviously, you have no idea how it works in the big time. So here's this guy who used to do stuff 12 to 25 years ago. He'll tell you how it works. We'll see how that happens.
Well, I had a lot of people ask, well, what goes into who you pick to be on certain podcasts and stuff? When we started Fightful and Shane Helms was out there, I was like, okay, a guy who's podcasted before. He's worked as a cruiserweight, a heavyweight, a trios, a tag team, a singles wrestler, a comedy wrestler, a serious wrestler. Like I said, every weight division. He's got an amateur wrestling background. He knows MMA. He has been known to sell merchandise. He has accomplished a lot of those different things. He's worked in ridiculous angles. He's worked with The Rock and had programs with him. So, I mean, there's not a lot of stuff that a guy like that can't cover that he hasn't done. So glad to see that going on. It's been a wild year for Shane, starting with the Royal Rumble, because he was, I don't want to say persona non grata for about 8 years, but he wasn't there for 8 years at all.
It's true.
Well, we got Raw to talk about. Let's get into it. I think that for a Raw that did not have a script 30 minutes before the show, I think it ended up being quite all right, although there was some stuff that just didn't matter, or some stuff that just wasn't much of anything, but at least it mattered. There were stakes to it.
Sure.
The Elimination Chamber qualifying matches I am a fan of, but we'll talk about the good and the bad. Seth Rollins gets a gigantic pop for his entrance. This crowd was hot, Alex.
They were very hot, and that speaks well for them. I mean, obviously it's the same, crowd of people who were, I think the more hardcore people of the Rumble crowd, the more hardcore people are the ones who stick around and go to these Raw and SmackDown shows, so they know their stuff.
Rollins says that he promised he wasn't going to point at the sign. but he has to do it. I like that he at least poked fun at it.
Yeah.
But you know that Vince is back there. And what's he saying, Alex? Is he saying what we think he's saying? Is he saying, point at the fucking sign? Well, you can also point at the fucking sign when you go to prowrestlingtees.com/Fightful. Get this beautiful shirt. And you can also point at the fucking sign. Hey, you know what? We've got Fightful shirts in gray, in white, in black. We've got Fightful Mania. We've even got a couple of the old school shirts. But my God. Whoo! Have a look at that shirt. My hair's a mess. He does it, and he is joined by Triple H. I got to say, this opening segment, I thought, kicked all kinds of ass. I thought that this was good placement and time killing all around, but Triple H says that he knows this is Rollins' dream, puts over Seth, and says that Becky's going to have to make her Rumble decision tomorrow night, but the machine keeps rolling. And I like that Triple H, it was almost a callback to their association. He's like, you know the drill, man. You know that we got to get this advertising out. We got to do this. So here you go. Does seem like something he could have told him a little earlier, though.
It does. It does seem like he could have done that backstage at any point between last night and tonight, except for, out in public. I'm of two minds with this. I love the fatherly interplay that he has with Seth, and Seth, like, just being so aw shucks. Like, it's kind of awesome that Triple H is so proud of me, how far we've come. But it does, like, forget that whole thing in the middle there between when they were like best friends and running together, and now where Triple H like tried to kill Seth Rollins several times with a sledgehammer. Like, we'll forget all about that. Yeah. That didn't actually happen. But this is good because I like Triple H as this. There's a thing that usually there's a disconnect between the guy who runs NXT and everyone loves him because that's the baby of the the more of a smarky crowd. So they love him for that. But usually on the main roster, he presents as this heel. So there's kind of like this duality there. Do I cheer him or not? Now it's fully on. You can totally cheer Trips. He's your guy. We all love him. And I thought that kind of worked out really well in this particular segment.
I mentioned a lot of the callbacks from last night's show. WWE did a lot of callbacks tonight. I think that they treated their audience with some respect tonight in a lot of degrees. And when maybe a lot of people wouldn't have remembered some of this stuff, they reminded you why it happened. So Triple H is giving Rollins to the end of the night. Daniel Bryan and Brock Lesnar are supposed to be there for the decision, but Dean Ambrose comes out. I thought he cut his best promo in a real long time. I was just holding the hose over my head for this one, Alex. I really liked it. He says that Triple H and Rollins have a father-son dynamic that makes him sick, and that when Rollins and Ambrose were driving around in $500 cars in Florida, Triple H didn't believe in him. Ambrose and Triple H are nose to nose, and when I see this, I'm like, damn, I kind of want to see that, even though I've seen it before.
Right.
Like, that was the interaction I was getting. I was like, damn, man, this is really aggressive and really fun. The best line came when Triple H goes to leave after Ambrose wants a match with Rollins. He says, do you have to get your father-in-law's permission first? And the crowd chants, yes, he does.
Yeah. Yeah.
What'd you think of this, Alex?
This was the best Dean that we've seen in a long time. Like, this further proves that this is one of those guys that should be a can't miss star with them all the time. No matter what they do, give him something to do. Give him something to do that's not awkwardly stand by a burning barrel and throw stuff into it, or tell all the people that they stink and that their town stinks. Give him something to do that's actually quality and watch him knock it out of the park. The little moment where Triple H is leaving and he's stepping through the ropes, and Dean steps through the ropes too to meet him, and that's where he gives him the father-in-law line. Like, that little touch, it proves Dean's been so good at certain moments over the years. He could have been great consistently, but creative consistently gives him shit to do.
Yeah, this was really good from reactions to Ambrose's just body language. He says Rollins has never been able to beat him without Corporate Kane or J&J.
Yeah.
Another good callback.
Yeah.
Showing us some respect with our memories. I went back and looked. Seth Rollins on TV, winless in his last 5 matches against Dean Ambrose on TV.
Good.
So Dean Ambrose isn't lying. The chants were great. The Ambrose Triple H interaction was great. Triple H says, "Get a ref out here."
Yeah, it was good. I love that. I love that was the response too.
Like it was simple, and it was a way to buy them some damn time.
Yes, because they freaking needed it.
They needed it.
I loved everything about this. And I also love Dean's out there. He's doesn't have the weird fur-lined bomber jacket. He doesn't have that stupid wallet chain that's not actually connected to a wallet. He's not saying you people smell bad. Like, this looked to me like it could have been a new direction for his heel persona. We'll talk about the match, and then what happened after the match made me go, I have no idea what's happening.
Kristen says that yellow is a good color on me. Well, Alex, it's because I'm lemonading over all these WWE rules. I'm walking down the street in my yellow shirt with a baseball bat, knocking over fire hydrants and stuff, Beyonce style.
Yeah.
Or maybe Titus Andromedon style. We'll go that way. Seth Rollins defeated Dean Ambrose. This was an okay match. Action spills outside pretty quickly where Rollins hits a clothesline off the barricade. Back in the ring, he misses a stomp. Ambrose applied what I thought is a nice STF, goes to the kitchen sink knees, even employs a glam slam at one point. Back from a commercial, we see them both on the turnbuckles. Rollins sells his ribs from last night's table attack, gets a flying body press, a rather lame sling blade, in my opinion, and does a series of suicide dives, misses a frog splash big time, but kicks out of a La Magistral. Rollins fires off a buckle bomb, telegraphs the stomp, but hits it. I kind of like that because so often when they telegraph a move, they don't. This was as clean gets.
Yes.
You're stomping away. The other person's like, let's go, God. And then they get stomped and pinned. I'm okay with this, especially knowing that Dean Ambrose has beaten Seth Rollins like 6 times in a row.
And again, this is your blow-off. Seth Rollins and Dean Ambrose never have to face each other again for the next 6 months. This is your blow-off. Seth beat him clean on Raw after winning the Rumble. That's it.
They need to be on different brands.
I have with this. They should be on different brands.
Roman's not there anymore. There's no reason to keep them together.
Exactly. They should be on different brands. But I think it's more likely that we'll see them wrestle again next week. Because that's what WWE does. They can't leave a good thing alone. Once it's done, it should be done. Leave the memories alone.
Yes. By the way, I know that the Glam Slam is the hook and ladder from his indie days. Most people watching this show know it as the Glam Slam. What'd you think of the way that Ambrose sold the curb stomp? I liked it.
I thought it was over the top. It was like 15% more than The Rock selling the stunner. Yeah. It was just a bit much.
I enjoyed it. I thought it was nice. Elimination Chamber qualifying match. Some genius thought it was a good idea to put Alexa Bliss in her second match back against Nia Jax and Tamina.
Well, what did you think of the thing with Ambrose after? He's like sitting in the ring.
So
I thought it was gonna
I actually had that in my notes. Dean Ambrose is in a chair on the mic, and he says, "When I signed with WWE," and then we get Nia Jax coming out, gets in Ambrose's face. This has made Nia Jax infinitely more interesting than she was 30 hours ago.
Well, I mean, that's not a high bar.
Exactly.
But I'm watching this going like, oh, the last time we saw a guy lose a match, sit in the ring frustrated, go to commercial, come back from commercial, he's sitting in the ring in the middle of a folding chair. It was Kevin Owens, who quit WWE and then was back 7 days later. So I wondered what they were going to do with Dean. Is this more of his new persona? But he was just there to get interrupted by Nia and Tamina and get run out by Nia and Tamina. And I felt like that's not a good sign for Dean.
Well, I like that when Dean got hit, he just kind of fell out of the ring, but it wasn't like the impact knocked him out. It's just, he was like, this woman hit me. I don't want to hit her back.
Right. This this is the thing is I don't know what their end game is with this thing. Are you saying that basically eventually Nia Jax is going to join the men's division? Like if that's what you're like booming towards or whatever, like this is also nebulous because for years,
at all.
Neither do I. But what I'm saying is intergender wrestling has been the third rail in WWE for so long that them teasing it in this way makes me go, I don't know what you're doing here, because I don't believe for a second you'll be like, all right, now men and women can wrestle each other forever. Like, I just don't feel like that's what you're doing. So there's something else. And because I have no idea what that is, it makes me very apprehensive watching it.
Do you see boxing promoter Lou DiBella speaking out about the quote unquote domestic violence on WWE TV? And I really loved Warren Hayes' response to this. He's like, man, that implies that there's an unwilling participant, and there's not. I thought Warren made a lot of really good points about that. And woof, man, we got an article up on the site about it, but I am for qualifying matches in the Elimination Chamber.
Yes.
Give me some meaning. I don't know how many weeks we have left. I probably need to look. I take everything on a week-to-week basis because UFC controls my life these days. Yeah. I think it's a good idea. It's a good way to add some give a shit to these matches.
Oh, you have to have qualifying matches. The problem I have with it is there are so few established women's partnerships that you get stuff like Natalya and Ember Moon. Whoops, no, Ember's injured. No, it's Dana Brooke.
We'll talk about that. I didn't hate the way they did that, but we will talk about it. Yeah, Elimination Chamber is 3 weeks away. So Alexa and Tamina is not a great exchange, but Alexa's added a little bit to her offense. She had to play the babyface a little bit in this, but I like the dynamic of having a couple of traditionally heel teams, even though Mickey was fired up and like, give me the tag. I like that. As Jeff Hawkins said on Twitter, sometimes their prerogatives are going to meet at crossroads and they're going to intersect and you're going to have a head-on collision. I'm okay with that. Alexa gets ragdolled by Nia, who shoves her ass in Alexa's face.
Yeah,
Alex,
that's what happened.
It is.
That's what happened.
I like that RKO chants were directed at Nia.
Sure. She's going to get that for a while.
Bliss goes through a sunset flip spot a couple times. Don't know why, but
I don't know what it was.
That happened. Nikki got the hot tag and hit a flying Thez press, way better than Lou Thez could have ever done it, on Tamina, followed by a corner head scissors and a neck breaker. But Nia gets tagged in, and I love the finish. She had Mickey up on her shoulders, and she catches Alexa on the top rope. This is consistent of everything we've known of Nia Jax. She's like, hey, listen, you do your thing. I'm just going to leave now. Yeah. And Nia's like, no, you're not. Does a double Samoan drop, looked like $1 million. Love the finish. That's all I loved about this match. What do you think?
This is fine. I hope they have something to do with Alexa Bliss now that she's back. I mean, it shouldn't have to be in the tag division or whatever, but I hope that there's something that they have planned for her. She was such a focal point of this entire division before she left and got injured. That I'm hoping that they have something really special planned for her because she deserves it.
Yeah, she does. I'm
also petrified that they're going to put the tag straps on Nia and Tamina. Like I'm just petrified they're gonna do that, and I just do not want to see Tamina anywhere near a belt with gold on it. I just can't imagine it.
Backstage, Kurt Angle is interviewed about his time off. Now, interesting fact, Kurt Angle has not won a WWE one-on-one match since 2006 over Danny Doring. Did you see my stat on who his last televised one-on-one win was over?
Yeah, I forget who it was, but a
guy by the name of the Brooklyn Brawler, Alex.
Well, at least he didn't lose that match.
Yeah. So Baron Corbin, I thought, did a really good job of setting the stage of Kurt Angle being old and broken down and not really having a chance. Angle eats a boss man clothesline and does his German suplexes. Michael Cole blames the terrible Raw ratings on Baron Corbin because if there's one way to convince somebody that a show doesn't suck, it's to tell everybody that everybody else thought the show sucked.
I still hate this. I mean, we talked about this when it happened. Then point out, I'm like, obviously, you guys have really hated this show, and we all know whose fault that is. This performer who we paid to act a part.
See, I like that. I like that because it would have been a lot better if they did it like, you remember when Jericho and Kevin Owens were in the ring and they're like, I know whose fault this is.
Yeah.
And they both said Roman Reigns and they hugged.
Yes.
It would have been funny if that was just like the joke. Like, yeah, we know it's our fault, but we're going to blame this guy that everybody hates anyway.
Right.
But that wasn't it. They tried to legitimately throw the blame on it.
Legitimately, and they continue to.
Yeah.
And somebody still needs to explain to me why Baron Corbin is no longer the GM, but still wrestles in a dress shirt and slacks.
So we didn't cover it on the Royal Rumble. The hilarious entrance where he unbuttons a shirt to take it off and reveal another shirt. That was next level. Next level good shit, pal.
That was some trolling right there.
Commentary bitched and moaned about Corbin to almost a distracting level.
Way too much. That was the problem, is that the entire thing was focused on that, which is like, hello, something that happened a damn month ago. Let's move on. Like, I don't know.
Angle applies an ankle lock, but Corbin gets out and hits a deep 6 for a win. I'm glad that if you're going to pin Kurt Angle, that you pin him with that. And I get the feeling there's an end game to this. I think that they're starting something here.
Well, here's what I fear the end game is: a WrestleMania match of Kurt Angle and Braun Strowman versus Baron Corbin and Drew McIntyre, because they can't figure out what to do with the good things they have.
As long as it ain't goddamn Nicholas, man. I saw John Cone lift that women's title above his head, and I'm like, your whole family are glory hogs. Angle takes a pretty damn great end of days after this, too.
Yes, he did. He nailed that.
Oh, boy. Looks like Angle needs some help, though. And if you guys need some help, our friends at onyourown.org/Fightful can help. This is a sponsor you all heard me talk about a lot last month, but I wanted to save one of the plugs for this month because I know there are a lot of people who watch this show who can use some tax help. Onyourown.org is one of my favorite sponsors. I legitimately use them. I went to them for like tax information. They can give you like what kind of credit card you want to apply for. What happens if your identity gets stolen? A lot of people don't realize this. You can get your taxes filed for free, and there are places all around where you live that can do that. Onyourown.org/Fightful has a full list of that. And for almost any financial situation, they are a personal finance blog that provides free and unbiased information that anyone can understand. Whether you're starting out in the real world or just looking for a new beginning, onyourown.org/Fightful will be there as your helpful guide and your biggest supporter. Their blogs are written by personal finance experts from the NEFE, which is the National Endowment for Financial Education. They are the leading nonprofit national foundation dedicated to inspiring empowered financial decision-making for individuals and families. Like I said, they cover that wide range of topics, and I know there are a lot of people who don't know where to start with taxes. I was like that once. Hey, sometimes I'm like that on my own. We had a situation change. I've told a lot of you, my wife is in school full-time now. How does that affect my tax situation? I was able to go to onyourown.org/Fightful and find out, and they are of great assistance. They link only to reputable resources that you can trust, so all your personal finance questions can be answered on the blog or by one of their resources. Check them out, onyourown.org/Fightful. I cannot recommend this enough. It is tax time. You don't have to pay somebody a ridiculous amount of money to file your taxes. There are volunteers that will help you or will do it for you. onyourown.org/Fightful. Alex, you filed your taxes yet?
No.
Better go to onyourown.org/Fightful, especially with that tone. My God.
Yeah, no, I hate fun. I hate taxes.
I was able to look it up. The college that my wife is going to right now, they have a volunteer tax return like fill out system. So that's good shit, pal. Finn Balor comes out next, puts himself over for his losing performance against Brock Lesnar. Really pats himself on the back for losing a match in 8 minutes.
Yeah. The reason I lost is because everybody believes in me. Okay. Listen, you didn't need to tell us this. Like we understood the story. It made sense. I feel like he could have said something like along the lines of, Brock, I had you beat. You got me, and I lost the match, but I had you beat. It's a little different than everybody believe in me. I'm Finn Balor. It's a little, there's a difference in tone there, but I mean, I'm fine with it. We move on. That's what happens. I don't think there were a lot of people who worked themselves into a shoot that Finn was going to somehow win this match, and I guess it was never really in the cards.
When I hear dialogue like this, I'm like, I hope Shane stands up to some of those writers the way that he did to me on the podcast, because if he heard that was going to be the line, he'd be like, let's go talk to this guy. It's dumb as shit. But Lashley and Leo interrupt. Leo says that Balor never should have even had the opportunity against Lesnar. Says that Lashley is bigger, stronger, faster.
Finn is a twerp. That's what he says.
Yes.
A twerp like you never should have had the opportunity to face Brock Lesnar, when I believe Finn outweighs Leo by like 35 pounds. I thought they should have done a little bit more with that, but I thought it was funny.
Lashley then kicks Finn's ass and slams him repeatedly, Alex.
Yes, a lot. Because here's the deal. We didn't get to see a lot of Finn. I mean, we outside of the match we did, but not in the match. I think that Vince wanted to remind you that Finn's really small, and that there's a lot of bigger dudes, a lot of beef out there that can throw little dudes around, and Vince wanted to remind us of the case. Like, we know he's small. You could have Bobby slam him once and walk away, but instead, to build sympathy, you got to have Finn get slammed 18 times in 2 days. Like, we get it.
I do like that slam. That's a hell of a slam, man.
I like the slam. I need to see it once, maybe twice.
Sure beats the vertical suplex he was doing.
He beat Sami Zayn with a vertical suplex.
I would have rather him shown his opponent his ass with that pose and distracted them into like running into the turnbuckle or something than the vertical suplex that was used.
Yeah.
The Revival defeated the Major Brothers. And if you don't know who the hell the Major Brothers are, Zack Ryder and Kurt Hawkins, they show Hawkins and Ryder's former accomplishments. They have a great podcast every week. I check it out from time to time. I'm glad these two are paired back together. They're very entertaining guys. And the way that Hawkins tagged in this match, he acted like he's been waiting 2 years to get his shit in, Alex.
Yeah, I thought that was cute.
He's got some good punches.
He does. I want these guys to get matching gear and actually be a real tag team. Like, just fucking do it. Do it. I think that these guys, I mean, it's weird to think like this is, they showed us they won the tag titles back at Backlash 2008. And like, that's 11 damn years ago. That's crazy to think. But I'm happy these guys are being utilized in some way, and also very happy they did not pick up the winner of the Revival, because they should not have.
Oh yeah,
I thought they might have, and that would have been like just the pits.
The Revival do that drop kick suplex combination. Scott Dawson has a great belly to back suplex where he just it's like an elevator that's just caught in free fall and it crashes. Ryder counters a Wilder suplex with a neck breaker. After that Hawkins tag, he gets Shatter Machine.
Yeah.
I'm okay with quick tag matches like that. If they're quick, they're to the point, they advance something. Kurt Hawkins eats the loss. It continues his thing. It gets the Revival a win. It was action-packed. It was solid. It was okay.
It's fine. I would argue, what does it advance? Because the tag champs weren't even mentioned on the show. Like the Revival should beat the team of Kurt Hawkins and Zack Ryder. So like they're not like, oh well, now the Revival have another shot at the champ. Like it's just a tag match on Raw. It was fun and fine, but I would like it to be like the Raw tag team division. We're gonna do something with it, and it is this, as opposed to just aimless tag matches.
At least we didn't have Lucha House Party tonight.
No, we did not.
For some reason, Elias, while getting Walk with Elias chance tries to go heel. Now, in a way, I understand why WWE's going to do this. They're going to get the reaction they're going to get out of Elias. But how much effort did you really put into it when Baron Corbin is beating Elias twice in a row?
Well, yeah, you didn't. They didn't put any effort into it. And this is the deal. This crowd didn't care about those losses to Baron Corbin. They loved Elias.
Yeah.
And Elias tried to turn heel on him, and they said, no, we're going to cheer you louder because we really like you. And we hate it when WWE forces us to boo the guys we like. It's stupid, and it sucks. And listen, like, it was a week into this. They made it 3 weeks of WWE listens to the fans. They couldn't make it a damn month before they said, whoops, we're not going to do that anymore. We decided we want this guy to be heel, even though you decided you want to cheer him. You decided you wanted to cheer him, so we made him a babyface. Then we want him to be heel again, so screw all your cheering for him. Like, what are you doing? Stop insulting our intelligence.
He says the crowd should be on their feet. They agree.
They agree, and they get to their feet.
They're in the presence of greatness. They agree. And chant, we're not worthy.
Exactly. Says, no, you're not worthy.
So then Jeff Jarrett shows up again.
Yeah.
So does Road Dogg. They were short on time for hour 2, and they were singing Alone with My Baby Tonight, the impact of Bruce Pritchard's podcast, because that's the whole thing, is that he brought that back. This is a song, I think, from WWF The Music Volume 2.
Yeah, it's 1995.
Yeah, it sure was.
They weren't singing it, though, because we could actually hear Road Dogg going, I don't know the words. It says into the mic.
Well, the best part of this was the holy shit chants that Road Dogg tells people not to do. And then he goes, I made it worse, didn't I?
Oh, oops-a-daisy.
That was good. Elias beats them up both with a guitar. Jarrett got some nice punches in.
Yeah.
Cutesy segment to let you know Elias is a bad guy.
That's the deal, is if I'm assuming, oh, please, God, Jeff Jarrett and Road Dogg aren't the program for Elias going forward. So they better have somebody lined up for Elias to work with who's a babyface. Otherwise, I don't know, man. Like, you allowed this guy to basically be this fun babyface version of who he's been, and then you, like, a couple of months into that, you're like, nah, scrap all that. We're doing something else. Why? Why even switch him over if you were going to come back and do this? Like, is Elias just a shorter, hairier Big Show? What the hell?
Reminder, guys, my match notes and ratings are up early for Fightful Select Tier 2 members. This week, I have the Fightful Report podcast. I'll give you exclusive news, contract updates, injury updates. We have Warren Hayes' 205 Live NXT UK review. I encourage you guys to check out his Raw review after this on his own channel. We also have the Weekender podcast with Steven Jensen, where he reviews a lot of non-WWE stuff. If you want some more free content, Kristen Ashley's The Division podcast was out this past weekend. Take a look at that. Mojo Rawley's cutting a promo on himself in a mirror. Your thoughts? He's a fantastic promo and a fantastic actor.
Sure. I don't know how you make this work, though. You're the reason that I'm not a big star. I'm the best. Everyone knows I'm the best, but they don't because of you. And then we pull back to see who he's talking to. It's himself.
He's eventually going to be talking into the same mirror that EC3 is standing in front of.
Please.
That's fully what's happening.
This is, I don't know, man. You tried with Mojo Rawley. It didn't work because you decided to stop it from working anymore.
Yeah.
And now I don't know what this is, but I mean, okay. I mean, it reads more like the origin story of a Batman villain than it does a professional wrestling segment.
Dana tries to pep talk Natalya backstage. She says, I know Ember Moon was supposed to be your partner, but I'm better than Ember Moon. To which I replied, now wait, just wait. Let's hold on here. And then she brought it back around. She goes, listen, wait, hold on. Hold on, Natalya. While you're upset, not only am I better than her, but I'm better than you as well. This was hilarious.
And I was like,
This is great.
I wonder if there's going to be tension between these two partners.
So it didn't make any sense that they were teaming together, but they pointed out that it didn't make any sense. So good.
That's the other thing is, even if it had been Natalya and Ember, that wouldn't have made much more sense.
No.
It's just they needed more tag teams.
And this promo coming from Dana was wonderful.
Yeah,
it entertained me.
Yeah.
Dana Brooke clotheslined Liv Morgan into the apron. I don't know how else to explain that.
Yeah,
but Sarah Logan pulls Brooke into the turnbuckle in a nasty spot. This match got some time cut from it, by the way. Riot Squad did what I thought was a nice inverted powerbomb and a face crusher from Liv off the second rope. Riot grabs Natalya's foot, then gets up on the apron when Natalya locks on a sharpshooter on Liv. Dana gets sent into Natalya, allowing Liv to roll Natalya up. That's a wrap. Natalya is not happy with Dana after the match. Very quick, not much to it, but it was an elimination qualifier. If there's going to be matches that are just like this, at least there's something in it.
Right. This is one of those deals where obviously there are three pretty obvious real tag teams on Raw for the women. So those are the ones you should put in the Elimination Chamber. But I did appreciate they didn't just say, well, here are the obvious three tag teams, they're automatically in. I appreciate that they made them work for it, even though it was kind of obvious who was going to win all these matches.
Guys, if you all just check out the podcast and don't visit FightfulWrestling.com, do so. That's where you can go to get all the wrestling news. Maybe you're not into MMA or boxing. We have more news stories up than anybody else. And I'm not talking about those horseshit two-line articles. I'm talking like good articles. We saved the 1-2 line stuff for our fight size updates. Give it a shot. Maybe you'll like it. Ronda Rousey comes out talking about her dreams and aspirations, and she got booed.
Yeah.
Boy, did she get booed. And I'm not talking like boo. I'm talking like thunderous.
Yeah.
Like this is the song this is what Imagine Dragons wrote that Thunder song about. This was just nonstop, overwhelming boos to the point to where me speculating, I'm pretty sure Vince McMahon said, God damn it, Bayley, get out there.
Yeah, because Ronda doesn't have as much of a experience as some others might have been figuring out how to handle this, because I don't think she was ready for that. She was pausing a lot, and they were already, as you said, they had matches that had time cut from them. So you can't be out there waiting for 5 minutes to deliver your lines because they're booing you too much. This is not the Roman Reigns after he beat the Undertaker spot. You can't just stand up there and let him boo you for 10 minutes. You got to get this thing moving, and she wasn't. So,
especially with no overrun. Now they don't have that. They did back then. Bayley answers the challenge. What we got was, I thought, a sloppy match at first, but Ronda Rousey being in a match and being in a title match has just this aura to it.
Yeah.
Of just makes it fun. She does this immediate throw to Bayley, moves to a ground scarf hold. There's a rope hung stunner from Bayley, and it just slaps Rousey's face right off the mat. Rousey's knee gives out. Really awkward spot here. And it's light, but what I liked here, you heard the Bayley song being sang in the background in Phoenix. That made me smile a little bit. She goes to the work on the leg of Rousey. Very clearly called on the fly this match.
Yep.
And Rousey's got to do that. She's got to learn to do that. And if they did that and this is how it ends up, I think she's pretty solid.
Yeah.
Pretty good, all things considered, Alex.
Yes, absolutely. I love the continuity of Bayley coming out there, kind of sticking up for her buddy Sasha. I think that makes sense. And I think that Bayley is one of those people that was, again, I'm going to talk about this in a little bit, but WWE has a history of taking people who are hugely over, whether or not they're in NXT and then they get brought up, or if they're hugely over the main roster, and just destroying it. Just using every trick in their arsenal to destroy all of it. And with Bayley, it's the same deal. Like, Bayley could have been something really special, but they had her get her ass kicked by a kendo stick in the hands of Alexa Bliss for 5 straight minutes, and she's never recovered from that match. Not ever. That was 2-3 years ago. It was nuts. And she has the potential to have these really great matches. Let her be that. And what my hope is, this tag team division allows Bayley and Sasha to shine and really be a chance to be really great performers because for the first time in a while, since Bayley's been losing a lot of matches recently.
Bayley snags like an awesome knee bar out of nowhere, and
that was beautiful.
That was good. Rousey,
I loved that.
Rousey instinctively rolls out like what you're supposed to do in that type of situation, and they end up outside the ring where Bayley does a Bayley to belly into the barricade before the commercial. Ronda Rousey doesn't give a shit. No, she's bumping everywhere, man.
She's taking those bumps, man. I love it.
Speaking of this flying elbow drop that Bayley cracked Rousey with, Jesus Christ, that was snug.
Yeah.
Oh boy, it was a good one.
Yeah,
they were laying it in. Applies the bank statement, a nice touch.
Nice, I like that a lot.
Rousey gets out. Rousey wins with a super flying armbar, and when she does that, it can look wild and sloppy. But man, those instincts take over.
Yep.
And when it comes down to, hey, I'm wherever I am, apply an armbar to me, Ronda's like, yeah, okay. I know that one. I know that spot. How about I just heave your body into the air and see what happens?
There are so many great touches of things like that Rousey does in a wrestling ring that I've never seen, because there's legit judo throws and transitions into stuff that MMA that you don't get a chance to actually see very often, because it's usually like, oh, this is a transition that's been used since, Gorgeous George did it back in 1953. Like it feels like this is new and interesting and different, and that's what makes Rousey, I think, so special.
Ronda Rousey wins. Sorry for the dead air there. Was finding my spot on my notes. Ronda helps up Bayley and they shake hands. What should have happened?
Should have happened.
Bayley should have looked Ronda Rousey dead in the eye and held up 4 fingers, and then Becky Lynch's music hits.
That's absolutely the problem I have. Like, even if they didn't have the 4 fingers, Bayley looked genuinely shocked that Becky's music hit, and it shouldn't have been. Like we need to create the impression that the 4 horsewomen are aligned against Ronda Rousey.
Yes.
So that they talk about it, they know what's going on. They're still a cohesive unit. So that if we ever get around to the 4 versus 4, there's that as a part of a story.
What we saw next was, quite frankly, special.
Oh, it was so good.
Becky Lynch comes out with a giant knee brace on, limping. She says
that pop when her music hit was legendary.
Yeah.
Man, she is so unbelievably over.
And I was worried it was going away a little bit. I was worried that once a lot of these people realized, okay, they're behind Becky, they being WWE, you know how, quite frankly, fickle some fans can be.
Sure.
That can happen. That did not happen with Becky Lynch.
Here's the thing I think that's really special. Everyone who's like, oh, they had Becky tap out to Asuka. They didn't even know what that moment made you think, oh, maybe they're not behind Becky. So now I have to be behind her even more. Like, I thought it was like, that could be a masterful stroke. If Becky's not being pushed to the moon and has chances of having little setbacks, that allows her fans to doubt whether or not she's going to have those moments, and they cheer for her even more. It's great.
Whew. Somebody in our live chat says Bayley threw up the 4. I didn't see that. If so, but if she did, great. Becky says Ronda's called herself the baddest woman on the planet, but the last time she saw Ronda and was on Raw, Ronda got dropped backstage. Lynch officially challenges Ronda Rousey, says that she's going to kick Ronda Rousey's ass in front of the world. Becky Lynch versus Ronda Rousey for the Raw Women's Championship is set for WrestleMania 35. Ronda says that she wants to beat the best version of Becky, and what Ronda needs to do at this point, they need to pivot, and just have Ronda be the real Ronda Rousey. Now, when I say the real Ronda Rousey, I mean the Ronda Rousey that I covered in MMA.
Yeah.
Not the Ronda Rousey who is legitimately happy.
Right.
And this is her demeanor these days.
Yes.
She is a very, very happy woman. When she was in MMA, she had such a chip on her shoulder at all times. And understandably so. Everybody said she was overrated, even though she was beating everybody. Yeah. People said that she was ducking Cyborg, even though she had agreed to fight Cyborg in 2013. Cyborg hit the bricks. Everybody said, oh, well, you're fluke this, fluke that. She had a chip on her shoulder. She doesn't have that anymore. She is spoken of very positively now.
Right.
They need that Ronda Rousey for these promos. That being said, my wife sat here and watched it. She was like, I love that Ronda Rousey promo. I see everybody on Twitter. They love the Ronda Rousey promo. So
right.
I guess I'm alone in that delivery.
No. I think we saw a lot more of that Ronda Rousey, the one you're talking about in this promo. Where we haven't been seeing that Ronda Rousey is the last 2 nights, tonight and last night. After she beat Sasha and after she beat Becky, she sits there in the ring and she looks at them with these big, I'm really sorry I had to beat you puppy dog eyes. And I don't feel like that's Ronda Rousey. I don't think Ronda Rousey.
That isn't Ronda.
I don't think like she's apologizing to Bayley for having tapped her out.
She yanked a woman's elbow out of her socket and wouldn't shake her hand afterwards.
Like that doesn't ring true to me. I feel like the Ronda Rousey in real life, Ronda Rousey, who's super psyched to be a professional wrestler and super happy to be working with Bayley and Sasha, might have a thing of like, wow, you let me beat you. That's really cool.
Yes.
Like because I mean, like obviously not let you beat me, but like you agreed to let me come into your playground and look like a damn champ in your ring. That's awesome. She respects that. But the Ronda Rousey character shouldn't. She'd be like, yeah, you're damn straight I beat you because I'm better than you. Not in a disrespectful way, but that's the way she should be with everybody she beats. So in this promo, though, she was dropping all kinds of fire at Becky Lynch. That's what they need to do. The problem I have with this is that I still don't trust WWE to not say, oh, well, one of these two has got to be the heel. We believe everyone wants to cheer for Ronda.
Yeah.
So they'll force Becky to do some stupid heel stuff. However, I think the thing that might save us from all that is if Ronda really is leaving after Mania. Because if that's the case, she's not winning that match. Becky's winning that match. And so I think they're going to want you to cheer for the one who wins that match. Whatever. I can't believe how organically, hugely, monstrously over Becky Lynch is, and they haven't actually fucked it up yet.
Rousey talks about her accomplishments and how she was on Mania while Becky was on the kickoff show, gets huge boos throughout. Rousey is pissed, throws down the mic. I had a lot of people asking about Chris Cyborg, who tweeted she was at the Performance Center today. I literally talked to Chris Cyborg, and she said, is it really a Royal Rumble if Cyborg Nation isn't in it? I've been told by WWE, by people in WWE, they assume that she's trying to leverage against UFC. She's got one fight left on her deal. No plans for Cyborg right now. She's done a little bit of half-assed pro wrestling training in the past with, I think it's Gabby from Tough Enough or something, but that's that. This Rousey Lynch promo.
So good. And this one-on-one, and that's key, one-on-one women's match needs to close WrestleMania this year.
It sure as hell does.
I love Charlotte. She does not belong in this match. Give Charlotte versus Asuka one-on-one. That's good enough. That is a co-women's main event. You don't need her in this match.
You know when she can close? When it's a 4-horsewoman, 4-way in the main event for a title. I think that's more. I think you got the 4 horsewomen. I think you got the Shield triple threat as legit future top of the line main event stuff.
Let's not kid ourselves. They're absolutely going to give her at least 15 or 16 women's title reigns before she's all done.
Yeah.
She doesn't need this too. You know what I mean?
Braun Strowman backstage sees Seth Rollins, endorses him. Says that he earned that Rumble win. Strowman's facing Drew McIntyre. This stems from the injury from November. So a little late and all, but Braun just came back last week and had his first match. So why wouldn't he want to face this guy? Strowman tries to mow Drew down before the break, gets a side slam and a clubbing blow to the chest of McIntyre. What I liked is when Strowman tried to mow down Drew caught him in the leg, sent him into the barricade.
Yep.
A nice spot. Drew posts Braun. Braun arm whips Drew off the apron. Really cool looking spot.
That was good.
But Baron Corbin comes out and attacks Strowman before he can hit Drew with stairs. Braun punches the chair out of his hands.
Like that move.
And then mows down everybody. But as Braun is about to stomp Corbin on stairs, McIntyre flies out of nowhere with the Claymore. You know, if Drew's not getting a top-level push, I'd be okay with a Drew Corbin tag team. We talked about Corbin. The Monday Night Monkey Paw, Alex.
Yeah, that's right. I know.
Oh, no.
It strikes again.
Oh, son of a bitch.
I said it.
We want the Revival to get some wins. How about the Major Brothers?
Well, Baron Corbin, really, I think his ceiling is being in a tag team with Drew McIntyre was not what I was thinking.
Who just left a tag team with Dolph Ziggler.
Yeah, I know. Okay, so I don't that's my thing. You have Kurt Angle lose to Baron Corbin, and Kurt Angle also lost in a humiliating fashion to Drew McIntyre. Braun has beef with both Baron and Drew. This is, to me, is obviously setting up a Braun and Kurt versus Baron and Drew match, probably for Mania, and I don't care.
Well, let's just talk about this. Nicholas is more protected than Kurt Angle.
Yeah, certainly is. And we're talking about like what WWE takes and says, oh, this is a thing you guys really, really want right now. Well, we're not going to give it to you now. We're going to put this on the back burner for such a long time that it loses all heat and goes away forever. And that's happened with Braun. When Braun first tipped over that damn ambulance, the crowd said, this is the guy. We want this guy. Put the belt on him. Do something with him. His feud with Roman Reigns was over the moon, and they wasted it. And then they had him have a one-on-one match with Brock Lesnar, and he lost to one F5. And then they had all this a rematch with Brock Lesnar. Never even get started because Baron Corbin attacks him, and like it doesn't. They just decided we're never going to give this guy to you, and you know maybe that's just we gotta expect them to like never give us the things that we want, so that when they occasionally do, it's that much more special.
Yeah, that's frustrating, man. It really is. I think that with the rights fees they're getting, they can't. I don't want to say babyface territory, but definitely a crowd-pleasing territory is the way to go.
Yeah,
that will maybe get asses in seats at live events and stuff like that. And
yeah,
I know they're not a live events business anymore; they're a content business. But
yeah.
Hey guys, if you're watching this live on YouTube, leave us a thumbs up, please. That stuff really helps. If you all want to help us out, leave it a nice review on iTunes, even if you don't listen over there. That stuff really helps too, because a lot of our viewers come from YouTube. So we don't get the iTunes presence that a lot of established podcasts do. If we were audio only, we probably would. But if you go over there and leave us a nice review, that helps more people find us. It helps us do more shows, longer shows, all that good stuff. So if you want to support us, do that. We are on podcast platforms everywhere. iHeart, SoundCloud, iTunes, Spotify, all over the place. Daniel Bryan backstage early in the night is with Rowan and says that he'll end Rollins' WrestleMania hopes tonight. As it turns out, no, he won't.
No, I like that. That was actually a really good like fake out, because I fully expected to see an interaction with the two champs and Rollins, and we never got to see it. But
I was clock watching.
It was a really good way of actually making us believe something was going to happen. And why not? I mean, SmackDown runs in the same building tomorrow. It's not like they had to fly in Daniel Bryan to make that happen.
Yeah, I was clock watching, man. I saw that and I was like, 10:57, 10:58.
Yep.
He ain't coming out.
He ain't coming out.
I liked it. And now Daniel Bryan can say, Seth Rollins would rather fight Brock Lesnar than me.
Yeah.
How scared must he be?
Absolutely.
I like it. We'll talk more about Daniel Bryan's plans tomorrow, but he's there with Rowan. It was a nice visual.
Yeah, I liked it a lot.
Seth Rollins is introduced, but Brock Lesnar's music interrupts. Heyman says that Rollins needs to challenge Daniel Bryan. Rollins comes out and attacks Lesnar, but gets F5'd 5 times, including once on the title.
Yeah.
I don't know why he's conscious here.
Nah.
That doesn't make any sense. And I get it. You're establishing that the guy has heart, that he's a tough guy, but he's like, Is that all you got? And I'm like, man, you should be in a coma.
Yeah. The F5, like there's got to be like all finishers should have like a hit points meter. Like each finisher done by a certain person like actually hits you and knocks you out with 1 or 2 or whatever. Like the fact that the F5 finishes guys in the middle of a match with 1 of them shouldn't allow for you to take 5 of them and be like, is that all you got? That I don't think I don't think you're allowed to do that.
Yeah.
I will say that I do love, and I appreciate that. I think they will use this in the continuity of Seth Rollins coming in, cashing the Money in the Bank, beating Lesnar, getting the title from him. And then when Lesnar finally got his match versus Seth Rollins to get the title back later that summer, remember that was that he was just mauling Seth Rollins. This is back when Brock was super babyface. And then all of a sudden the Undertaker showed up in the middle of that match, and the pay-per-view goes off the air after the Undertaker is breaking up that match. Seth and Brock never had a rematch following that. So I like that there's a lot of history between these two back when they were on the opposite sides of the spectrum, so that you could actually draw on that.
We go off the air with Brock Lesnar delivering a 6th F5.
They really need to. Michael Cole really needs to get on the Tony Schiavone thing if there's going to be a hard network out. He's not going to be like, oh, we're out of time. The tape machines are rolling. He needs to get like in that thing if we're actually going to go out as Seth is bouncing off the canvas.
They have a network for that.
Yeah, that's true.
Speaking of the network, they're going to do Halftime Heat this weekend. I am very strongly considering doing a live watch along. I think that would be quick, harmless, and a lot of fun. It'll be on YouTube. It'll be everywhere. So look for that. Also look for Listen Your Boy, Wednesday, 3 p.m. Eastern. Myself, Fightful founder Jimmy Van. It is, if you think this show is relaxed, my God, that show, it's a good one. You'll want to tune in. You're going to hear more of my conversation with Triple H. I talked to him about several things over the last week, but it's been a long week, and it kind of wraps up on Tuesday. Alex, it's going to be weird when Friday is the start of the wrestling week on these big weekends. Like, we're going to have Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. It's going to be weird. I
still don't know how you do the go-home SmackDown on Friday before the big pay-per-view on Sunday. It's a weird thing. It's gonna be interesting to see how that works out, but I'm sure they'll figure it out. I mean, they're a multi-million dollar company. They'll figure something out with it.
Update on Ember Moon, by the way. She has an elbow injury that will require immediate surgery, WWE has announced.
Yeah.
That is a bummer. I hope she's back for WrestleMania, even if she's just in the Battle Royal. That would be a nice if she's back in time for that and she is like the last person to come out.
Yeah.
That would be nice. Get well soon to Ember Moon. That's a bummer.
Yeah, she's long been a favorite of mine, and I hope this isn't one of those things where, oh, you were injured? Well, then nuts to you. Like, I feel like she's so special. I hope when she comes back, she's not bumped way down the card because of some kind of weird consequences of having gotten injured.
Try to find out more about that Ember Moon injury. For now, you all can follow Alex at Pawlowski the Fourth. You can follow me at Sean Ross Sapp, but hit up FightfulWrestling.com. Obviously, our wrestling is what we're known most for, but on the MMA side of things, James Lynch did some outstanding work at Bellator 214 this weekend, including interviews with Josh Rafferty, who trains the likes of, he's trained with and helped train like Roderick Strong, Sheamus, Dave Bautista, Jack Swagger, a lot of these people. And James Lynch has an interview with him. I'll probably put it on the Pro Wrestling channel as well. But head over to youtube.com/Fightful MMA Boxing. Show that a little bit of support. Thank you guys for being here. This was an outstanding podcast. We had over 1,500 live viewers last night and a lot tonight. Thank you guys so much. I appreciate every one of you. Until next time, we're out.